So Tara, when you talk to a local car wash owner that has a large corporate car wash being built up the street and they're worried, what do you tell them?
Well, the first thing that I always press upon them is don't panic, right? The sky is not falling. It'll be okay. Oftentimes when competition is coming in, it's your market, right? They're actually worried about you, right? Because they're coming into a new market, a new space, and you're already established. You already have a presence. You already have a name. And also, small operators have such an advantage over incoming competition that might be corporate or PE, right? These really larger chains. Small operators have a lot of tools that they can leverage and a lot of opportunity to make a big impact.
Presented from the Aishin Broadcast Studio at Babcock's Media.
Welcome to the Professional Car Washing and Detailing's Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, our guest is Tara Baugher from Vertec. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Well, you didn't have to travel very far to get here today. You're a local.
No, I just had to brave the cold, which is bad enough, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Well, let's dive right into some content.
Okay.
So let's picture this. New large corporate car wash breaks ground. I'm the local car wash owner up the street. What do you tell me?
So the number one thing that I tell them is don't panic, right? You have a lot of advantages, right? Again, you own that market. A lot of operators tend to panic when larger chains are coming in, and really a lot of operators have big advantages over these large chains. Again, they own the market, right? The chain that's coming in, it's a new market for them. They have to worry about you. It's your market, it's your market share. So again, the customers are with you for a reason. You just got to give them reasons to stay.
Well, what advantages does the corporate car wash have over the local guy?
Well, I think that, it's the obvious money, right? They have a much bigger wallet than the local guy. They have a lot more resources and also brand equity. And what I mean by brand equity is they have a lot more locations, right? So they might be new to your market, but regionally they might have more locations. They have more money to throw at marketing, things like that.
Well, let's flip that question around and give me some more examples of what the local car wash owner, like the advantages that they enjoy.
Yeah, absolutely. So we know that car washes are local commodity businesses, right? We are reliant upon our local community. Certainly we have commuters, we have travel, but those are kind of one time or a couple times a year. Really, our biggest piece of the pie is within our 5-mile, 10-mile radius at times. It's the reason why we do like 5-mile radius for mailers, for grand openings and things like that. So really being able to lean into the community. Larger corporations have things like bureaucracy. They have layers and layers of, answers and red tape that they have to go through, right, in order to make decisions. One of the biggest opportunities that small operators have is they have flexibility. They have the ability to try new things, to get creative, whereas these larger chains, they're kind of stuck in what they can do and the options that they have.
Well, I guess one of the advantages a local car wash owner would have is the decision makers on the ground.
Right.
And the decision maker sees the day-to-day.
Absolutely.
And so if you see a great opportunity, you can act on it as opposed to begging someone who, might be in another state.
Absolutely,
right?
Absolutely. You have a wrap go down, which is a great example. You don't have to wait 3 months for approval from, finance to get that replaced. You can go and swap that out. You can make that change. And you're also boots on the ground so you can talk to your consumers. You can say, hey, we have this down, but we're going to fix it. We have a plan. Unfortunately, when you have those larger chains, they can't even communicate that because they only have a plan yet, which again, I understand it's a large scale, but it's a really good benefit to these smaller operators.
Well, let's shift gears and talk about membership count. So we're going to fast forward from the big corporation just broke ground to they're getting ready to open. And here I am, the local car wash owner up the street. What should I be doing to protect my membership?
Well, I think there's twofold. Right. I think one of the first things you have to do is look at your absolutely core root operations. And what I mean by that is you're looking at consistency, cleanliness, and quality of product. And if we're looking at consistency, Are my employees out at the pay stations or pay lanes, right? Are they consistently educating consumers? Are they giving a great customer experience? Are they saying hi and bye to people? Small things like that make a huge difference. Cleanliness. Is my vac lot clean? Is my tunnel clean? These are things that are going to make a really big difference when competition comes knocking or competition increases. Right? These are small details, but they're all pieces of a puzzle that go together and really make, again, a really big impact. Quality of product, right? Are you putting out a consistently clean car? Is it consistently dry? Making sure that your chemistry is dialed in, making sure that your tunnel smells good. All of these things really, really play into a good foundation and a fundamental good customer experience on site. But to build on that, right, you also have to really lean into your marketing. A lot of operators have made a living off of word of mouth and a great location, which is amazing, right? We know chains that have been around 40, 60 years just based off of, great ops and great locations, which is amazing. But with competition, we just can't do that anymore, right? You have already made a great name for yourself. You're already doing well. Lean into that, enhance that. Leverage tools, leverage a texting club, right? Leverage marketing tools, leverage your local community. There's a lot of cool things that smaller operators can do to really lean into what makes them great. And again, give their consumers a reason to stay and keep coming back.
That's something that some of the local operators right around here that I've become friends with, they do some events that you would never see at a big chain.
Oh, absolutely.
They have all kinds of different things for like the local schools.
Right.
Red blood soap on Halloween and
right.
like all kinds of fun things.
Haunted car washes. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a great example of things that operators can do. Events, in my opinion, are wildly underrated. I also am biased, as I really love a good haunted car wash, but things like Easter egg hunts, things like having Santa in the vac lot, there's really cool things that smaller operators can do to really enhance the customer experience. I had a client in New Jersey, shout out to Leon, he's a phenomenal operator. He used the term surprise and delight. And I really, really love that term. That's something that smaller operators can really lean into, is give your customers an experience they didn't expect. A great example is a great operator out in California. He was giving away trick-or-treat buckets to the first, I think it was like 200 cars that showed up on site. He sent a text out to his text club, and he had lines down the street all day long.
Oh, wow.
His customers don't understand if they're the 50th car or if they're the 500th car, right? They don't know. Right? And it's so minute. He probably spent $500 on those little plastic,
pumpkins.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But the customers went wild for it, right? You take something that's ordinary and you're making it extraordinary. Another great example is, I know this phenomenal marketing girl. She gave away free pizzas on a random Tuesday. Didn't tease it, didn't tell anybody, just free pizzas randomly at a Tuesday, and it went viral locally. You never think that pizza and car washes go together, but those people will never forget the car wash where they got a random pizza just for coming in.
Yeah.
Right? It is being able to surprise people really goes a long way. And again, that's a huge benefit to these smaller operators, is they're nimble and they can do things like that.
Yeah, you've got a little bit of time to kill anyway, right?
Right.
You could get a couple pieces down.
Absolutely, absolutely. You might be a little hungry, right?
Yeah. I am now.
Right.
Well, I want to kind of do a boots on the ground type question for you here. So
Okay.
let's say, because I know you've worked in this market.
Yes.
And so you're very familiar with this market. You live in this market.
Yes.
Let's say that I have a car wash, here at 3550 Embassy Parkway in Fairlawn, Ohio, and there's a new corporate one going up right up the street. And I say, Tara, I want to have you come run my car wash. What are the 10 things we need to do right now, or 5 things, like pretend you're my consultant?
Right.
What would you tell me to do right now?
Absolutely. So circling back to, again, fundamentals, we're going to be taking a look at consistency. We're going to see how your employees are behaving with consumers. Again, are they smiling? Is it a good experience? Are they saying hello? Are they saying goodbye as they load cars? Are they consistently educating, right? And again, I'm looking at the lot. Are you clean, right? I'm looking at your tunnel. Is your equipment tuned, right? Is the timing in the tunnel correct? Are you putting out a good car? All of these things play into, I'm a big proponent of good marketing is wasted on bad ops. So your operations are always what I look at first. And then we're looking at, okay, what are you doing really, really well? Why do customers come to you? Sometimes it's a matter of a good location, which at the end of the day isn't a bad thing, right? Other times it's, we sponsor the local Little League team. So, the local, the local high school moms and things like that really lean in. It could be anything like that. So you take that, right? Locally owned is another one. And you really, really dive into that. You push that on social. You're pushing that same narrative. You're telling a story, right, to your local community. And you're leaning into that more. I'm seeing, do you have a text club? If you don't, we need to get one. What kind of marketing tools do you have? Do you have somebody on site and kind of on the ground that's marketing? If not, let's look at a marketing agency and see what we can do to kind of reinforce that. Because again, to your point, operators have some time before those competition sites come in. They know when they're coming. Sometimes it takes a year, sometimes it takes 2 years. But generally, operators know when competition gets a permit to build. So you have that time to lay that framework to really dial things in. And it sounds oversimplified, right? It sounds like, okay, well, that's all well and good, but that sounds a little too simple. But at the end of the day, I have lived it, I've breathed it. That is kind of the secret sauce, right? There's no silver bullet. And it really is about finding those puzzle pieces and kind of putting them together. And again, finding opportunities to surprise and delight your consumers.
You're right. I mean, operations definitely is important. I mean, I'll share a story with you. My wife decided that she was going to cancel her car wash membership while I was on the road because she just had a bad experience. And so she's like, I ordered all the stuff on Amazon and I'm going to wash the car. And sure enough, next day she was washing the car. Now that was September. I don't know the car's been washed since then.
Right.
But
well intended.
Yeah, it took that one bad experience, and she's just like, I'm done with that.
Absolutely. And sometimes that's all it takes. Right? We have to take a step back and think of ourselves as the consumer. Right? Ask yourself, what restaurants do you go to? What gas stations do you go to? And why do you go there? Right? Did you have a bad experience at the get-go? Did you have a great experience at the Sheets? Right? It is, you have to think about and take a step back and put yourself in the consumer's shoes and think, okay, well, what can I do to make this a great experience? People will come to the wash that remember your name, or remember their name, rather. It is such a powerful thing. I know we have an amazing chain around here, Sergeant Clean, and they do an amazing job. And I know that something that they really lean into is, you see your name displayed on a digital board, when you're exiting the tunnel, and they're really big on community. And that's a huge, huge benefit. And that's something that operators can really lean into.
Tara, is there anything more you'd like to share with our audience today before we go?
I think that when it comes to competition coming in, it's really important. Again, I've said it a couple times, don't panic. It's going to be okay. You have your strengths. Your members are with you for a reason. Your customers are with you for a reason. Making sure you're finding out what that is. And there are a lot of levers you can pull. Survey your customers. Find out what is missing, what do they like, what do they don't like, right? Being able to address those things and also really getting in touch with your local community. It makes a huge difference. Again, as a car wash, you are local marketing. That is your bread and butter. And leaning into that. You don't have to spend a ton of money. Don't look at what these other corporations are doing because they're playing a different game. Right? They are playing the growth game. They're playing the real estate game. You're playing the game to put food on your table, right? So making sure what you're doing has a really big impact. And these small things like a random giveaway for a trick-or-treat bucket can make a huge impact. Giving away free pizza, partnering with a local, Chick-fil-A. I know a lot of operators are doing that now. it makes a really big impact. Again, in this era of digital and AI and, XPTs that are not staffed, it's more important than ever for human connection. And kind of to round it out, that's one of the biggest opportunities that small operators have, is they can have that personal connection, whereas a corporation or a PE group might come in, they're too big to do that.
Well, I really appreciate you coming in today.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, we'll have to do it again sometime.
I hope so.
Yes. And thank you for taking the time to join us for this Professional Car Washing and Detailing's Executive Spotlight. I'm your host, Brian Ankney. Today, our guest has been Tara Baugher from Vertec. We hope to see you again on a future episode.